You are so much more. MicDropClub.com. Make life boom.
Hi everybody, it's Douglas Hamandishe for another episode of the Mic Drop Club. Today, I am back at the NVA office in a collaboration to try to raise awareness on volunteering within the Medway area. And who better to talk about volunteering than Briony, who works for the Bowel Cancer UK Screening Service. So I've got Briony here with me today to do some myth busting, talk through some of the challenges that she faces and how she reaches communities with her messages to get people to get screened and the value volunteering has brought herself and her call to action, really. So no further ado, Briony, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, good morning, or is it good afternoon? It feels like it. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. And me and you bumped heads on quite a few occasions now. And I've seen firsthand your go-getter, you're out there in the community, try to encourage people to get screened. You've seen that with your pop-up banner, trying to corral people, this big push to get people screened. Where did that come from in terms of what's your journey into this service?
Okay, so I have a background. So I've been working in public health initiatives for the past few years. I've worked with people who've been pre-diabetic as a health and wellbeing coach, and I've also been a tier 2 weight management health and wellbeing coach. People's health interests me, and I'm extremely interested in bowel cancer screening. I didn't realise I was going to enjoy the subject so much, but if I can engage with as many community members, groups, individuals as I can, just kind of spread the awareness around the screening, because there are so many people that don't know about the bowel cancer screening program. Yeah.
So there's something about raising awareness, getting your voice out there.
Yeah.
You almost seem like a singular voice I see popping up at different events.
It does feel like a one-band man. I'm not the only person working on this project. I'm the only person working on this project in Medway and Swale that I know of currently, or it's being funded by the Kent and Medway Cancer Alliance and the Medway and Swale Health and Care Partnership. There may be other projects that are going on with different funding pots in different places, but I know that I'm the only person at the moment in this area. So there's a lot of people that I need to engage with and talk to. And Medway and Swale are huge areas.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of population, we're talking about close to 300,000 people.
I feel like a tiny fish in a massive ocean of people.
Yeah. In terms of the resistance, or should I say hesitancy that you might get from people, how does that normally play out?
I think on occasion it has been quite difficult. So if I'm doing a pop-up, I've either turned up in a library or I'm outside a shopping centre. Obviously, people are getting on with their day and, don't necessarily want to be interrupted. So trying to engage, whether I can have a conversation with somebody, can be quite challenging. I found that people may walk past me and come back again. And the people who initiate a conversation are normally somebody who's experienced bowel cancer. Yeah. Not necessarily themselves, or they've lost somebody, or somebody just being diagnosed, or they have a story to tell. The people who aren't engaging with me, on a few occasions, I think it's because they haven't been affected by bowel cancer, so it's not on their periphery of things going on. But hey, some of my conversations with people are very short and transitory, so I don't have too much time to get to know people or people to share their stories. So
do you feel like people climb up and try to maybe avoid eye contact?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if I've been outside a shopping centre, I've got a massive banner, like you say, I'm there with a banner, I've got a board, you can see what it says. It's normally saying something about poo, there's bowel cancer. So people are either looking at it, noticing it and reading it as they're walking past, or no, they don't want to know. And that's okay. I'm not an enforcer. I'm here to bring about awareness and inform people as much as I can. And then it's down to them as to what they do with that information. And approaching people, it reminds me of one of my first jobs selling windows, Zenith windows, cold calling, or working down at the docks, selling Benson and Hedges and Orangi Boom. it's promotions.
Yes.
It's challenging.
Yeah. And I remember
it's challenging.
I remember doing cold calling many moons ago, and literally those were the days you had proper dial-up, those mechanical dial phones, and then you had a long list of directories you had to go through them one by one.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot about dealing with rejection.
Yes.
Because boom.
This experience reminds me of that, and I didn't actually think that working in Zenith Windows. No offense to Zenith Windows, but
yes.
I didn't.
We need to put that out there.
Yeah, it was great. There's lots of us hanging out together and having a good time, but I didn't realise that experience could actually help me with some of the rejection that you face or the resistance from people. So that's a good first job, I suppose.
Yeah. It's a baptism of fire, literally. Baptism, you have to keep cracking them out, and then you realise it's a numbers game. So, do you have any numbers that you want to get in contact with? Like
I have project targets.
Yes. What do they look like?
I'm smashing them. So this project is only a year. It's only funded for a year. And I've had to kind of run with it, and I've contacted as many people as I possibly can. I have to say, all the different kind of organisations, individuals, businesses, they have been very open and wanting to kind of like offer that kind of information to the people, their service users. So I've had lots of help from all different charities and organisations and stuff like that. So if they say, yes, please come and do, I've gone, okay then. So, yeah, I'm near to getting my numbers, but there's still thousands of people that I've not spoken to that I would like to speak to if they're willing to have a conversation with me. But I'd much prefer information sessions to pop-ups. So pop-ups, so an information session can turn into a conversation like this. It's a lot more relaxed. People are more open to share their stories and experiences, and it's more informative rather than a quick transitory conversation or here's some information, take this away sort of thing. Yeah,
because I guess some people want to engage, but maybe it's the wrong time.
Absolutely.
And they might be wanting a follow-up. Do you do that service, like you can follow up, or do these signposts more?
I can. So people aren't coming back to me, but I can signpost them information. But I go out with like lots of information about bowel cancer screening. I've got lots of information from Bowel Cancer UK and Bowel Cancer UK and another bowel cancer. Yeah, like a Cancer Alliance. So I've got as much information. I've got all the NHS cancer information out there as resources to give out to people, from symptoms diaries to information fact sheets to signposting information. So, if these people want to go home and read the stuff that I give them, all the information is in there.
Yeah, sure. So, it must be a challenge, like reaching different parts of the community. They have this... There's this term that's being used, I think, wrongfully used, where they say some communities are hard to get hold of.
Okay.
And my question as professionals in what we do, is it that they're hard to get hold of, or we are not creative enough to meet them where they are at?
Absolutely.
And what can we do to meet them where they're at? If it's a resourcing issue, we need to call out, we need more resources to help us do that.
I think there is that. But there's lots of community groups. So I'm not from Medway, okay? I live in Kent, okay? I have never been anywhere where there are so many organisations, charities, community groups. I mean, like, if you want something, you just have to go out the door and kind of find it. Yeah. Somebody will offer you a direction in some way. That is not the same as where I live. So there are community groups that exist for all different diverse groups, but not everyone goes to them. And I was thinking this morning, so like you'll get the same people going to the same groups. But what about those people who don't go to those groups? Yeah. We're still not getting those people. Yeah. So if I've gone to a group and I've gone, well, that person's at that group and he goes to that group and he goes to that group. I think it's very challenging. I don't know how to answer that. But yeah, I do think we do need to be more creative. I think we're being creative enough as it is. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. It's a challenge.
Exactly. It's a challenge. And I think you look like the type of person that's up for the challenge, because I've seen you at very diverse events. I saw you at the Ghana Association event, looking at communities from West Africa to encourage them to go for bowel screening. Equally, I've seen you at the the Greenwich University
Sticks and
event,
Stones.
Sticks and Stones event.
Yeah, and I was at Pride.
And at Pride. So again, you're to be seen, you're everywhere trying to engage the community. So maybe there's something to do with media as well. Where do these people hang out on media if they're not in person, public? I don't know, age groups and all that kind of stuff. It's a complicated one, isn't it?
It's complicated. And I know from talking to the Bowel Cancer Screening Hub, and they said, they have an influx of test kits that come through when there's been some kind of media campaign or that somebody has passed away who's in the media eye. So all of a sudden everyone starts doing that and then it kind of drops down again.
Yes.
It's a shame that somebody has to, in the public eye, has to die for people to start doing their tests, or somebody in their family to die for people to go, oh, hang on a minute, or maybe I should do the test kit. It's a shame that the education isn't there in the first place, that actually screening is a really good idea to start doing when it's offered to you, rather than it being a taboo or when you've lost somebody. That's because the education's not there.
That's a great point. Great point. And a great segue to the next section. Like, what is it? Let's do some myth busting. The screening. So a lot of people that have not been directly affected with bowel cancer, screening has different connotations in their head. Yeah. So what does that involve?
Okay, so the screening is a poo sample test. It's called a FIT test, and it stands for fecal immunochemical test. And it looks for traces of blood that are not visible to the eye. So part of this bowel cancer screening awareness program is informing people that the age group has come down. So it's going to be more available to people from the ages of 50 all the way through to 74. It's been 65 to 74, 64 to 74. And like I say, more people from the ages of 50 will be able to do this screening. After the ages of 74, the invite to do the screening finishes. But if you're over 74 and you want to do the screening, you can ask for it. So I have a telephone number for that. Okay. So there's lots of people over the age of 74 go, well, I used to do the screen, haven't had it for a few years. Oh, I'd like to do it. And I'm like, here's a telephone number. So there's that group of people. Or there's people in their 80s and 90s who've said, never done a test kit. I believe the screening's been around for 20 years, I believe. So there's a group of people who've managed to get into their 90s who've never done that test kit, which is, they're nice, fit and healthy. Yeah. So I believe there is no cut-off age. It depends on, where they are in their life and whether it's medically viable for them to do that test kit. So I'm trying to inform people in their 50s to expect that test kit. So there are some people who have no idea what you're talking about, don't know what bowel cancer screening. I'm like, well, at some point in the next year, if you've just turned 50 or you're 52, something like that, to expect a test kit. It's going to come in the post. Well, how do you get that test kit? Okay, are you registered with a GP? If you're registered with a GP, your details are sent to the Bowel Cancer Screening Hub. And then that's where you'll then be invited to. The bowel cancer screening is not compulsory, it's an invite. Would you like to do this testing? There are benefits of doing the bowel cancer screening. If they detect bowel cancer at its early stages, there's a higher chance of survival rate. Yeah. So that sounds like quite a good thing to do. Yeah. But there's consequences for all of these things. You might not want to know that you've got bowel cancer, or might not be able to be in a place where you can deal with it. So I can understand why people might not put it off. But if I have the opportunity to meet people and inform them with the education is out there, this is not my education, it's all the stuff from the NHS and Public Health England. This is the information, and then you can go and make your choice about it. There's a very interesting, when they send you the FIT test, they send you a NHS bowel cancer screening, helping you decide pamphlet. And there's lots of information as to the reasons why you might want to do the test kit, and also the reasons why you might think, I don't want to do it. Benefits and risks. Yes. So it's a very informative pamphlet, which they sent, and I've actually managed to get some copies.
Brilliant.
Give to people.
And I'll take one. As somebody that has just turned 50 this year, I'm expecting that as well. Okay. And I think, Briony, we spoke before at the Ghana event that I'm part of the profile study for testicular cancer. Yep. So that's with Cancer UK. Okay. And again, we're trying to encourage people from different communities, different ethnic groupings to get screened as well. Yep. Do you find that you get more resistance from certain demographics of people than
I've learnt. I've had a couple of conversations with people who have come from Nigeria, and one was quite informative with regards to a man in his 50s. He's over here at the moment, and he said, we don't have bowel cancer in Nigeria because our diet is better. We don't eat sugar. So there is, and that's not his own, he doesn't only believe there. There is a large percentage of people with the same kind of thinking. So that was a few weeks ago. And then I met a Nigerian lady last week. We had a fantastic conversation, really interesting, really nice lady. And she believed until our conversation that it was only women who got bowel cancer, because she knows of two Nigerian family members who've passed of bowel cancer. So our conversation expanded with the fact is maybe it's because the men don't test. Okay. You know, the mother-in-law didn't test until she was 73 because she said she was fit and healthy. She passed away, bless her heart, from bowel cancer. But, you know, so if I can have more conversations with people, then I'm more likely to be able to uncover those barriers and those conversations, and we can expand on that. So, yeah, people are out there wanting to have conversations.
Yeah, because it's a bigger conversation outside of just the screening. It's how these cultures understand what's happening and the stigma around it. I see it all the time around mental health, and not just Nigeria, a lot of countries where they're still developing an understanding of what mental health is, from saying it's obeah, witchcraft induced, or whatever. There's this denial to the science that still takes place. Of course, in fact, a lot of communities have this propensity to doubt what's happening, and then how that plays out is a lot of harm, a lot of anguish that the family experienced, and soul searching when things do go wrong, and thinking this could be prevented. This is why I'm part of the profile study, you know, for cancer in Black, African, Caribbean men, because you leave a void in someone's life, in your family's life, if you're not there, particularly if it's preventable. You know, we have a duty to do it, to get ourselves tested in a timely way so that, you know, better health outcomes.
But that's interesting you say that you have a duty. Not everyone thinks like that, do they?
No. But then I've grown up to think like that. It was the myth busting, speaking to people like you. And as you grow, you see, why is this person not there anymore? And you hear the stories and blah, blah, blah. Then you join the dots.
Yeah.
I wish I felt like this. I wish I thought like this when I was a lot younger. I really do. But I had to go through all of these. Yeah. Every grouping of people have a different educational basis. But lucky for me, I'm a nurse, so I come into contact with a lot of people that are receiving care. But again, even then, in my 20s, I didn't think like this. You know, I felt I was like, I'm immune to stuff.
Yeah, and I think which is a good thing if when you're younger, that we haven't been affected by that. Unless as we get older, all of a sudden, you know, people are dropping off and people are passing away. And it does seem to be when you hit 40s and 50s or whatever it is, it's like, you know, your grandparents and da-da-da-da-da.
Yes.
It kind of like, you know, there's that awakening to life's realities of passing. Yeah, if it can be prevented, I think it's a good thing.
No, absolutely. And I know you're doing great work. So what is your journey like being like into this space? Like before you got, I know we talked about Zenith Windows very briefly, like you seem to have a very caring disposition.
Oh, that's very nice.
So what has your journey been like into this space?
A roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster. I think the past 5 years has been a place of where I've wanted to be, but I've had mental health issues and health issues for quite a few years and only recently been diagnosed with something. So I feel like I'm in the right place. It should have happened 10 years ago, but circumstances have kind of brought me to where it is. So, yeah.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And that's what I find, that people who are in this space, particularly volunteering their time and supporting services such as the Bowel Cancer UK, they have something to give back that is so profound. And that comes from a unique journey. I think more of us need to lean into our unique journeys in order for us to heal ourselves and also help other people on that journey for healing as well.
I think you need to be in the right place where you feel that you can be honest and supportive, and you don't always get that environment, do you? I'm not going to say no more.
No. It's true.
Yeah, it's like we might all want to be able to do these things,
Yes.
and it's like, well, no. So we talk about mental health struggles in different cultures, things like that. Actually, same in the UK, there are such stigmas against mental health, and can people be honest when they're struggling? I don't agree that they can all the time, especially now with how the services are absolute maximum capacity. It's going to be worse than it was before.
Yeah.
And I think also when people are potentially going through an unknown cancer diagnosis, they may be very unwell at that before they get diagnosed and might not know what it is and be really unwell and be really scared and fearful and actually not know who to go to for help. So it's challenging. It's challenging being a human being.
Yeah. And you hold that space well in terms of not only raising awareness, signposting, educating, reframing. I think that's what I wanted to get across. The reframing of what bowel cancer screening is. It must be a big challenge because people have their own preconceived perceptions all the time. Do you have any positive stories to tell around, like, as you're selling it, like what are the benefits that you pitch?
No, I've been told, so people might walk past me and go, they don't want to stop, but they go, I do the fit test. It's so much better than it used to be. It used to be really gross. So it's nice to know that, they've developed a much better tools to be able to do the test. So that's a good thing. I've had some awesome survival stories of people being diagnosed using the fit test. They were fit and healthy, didn't know that anything was wrong, and they're here to tell the tale. So that's been great for people. That's been great for me to hear those experiences. But it's also been pretty heartfelt, sad, if that's right. Not sad, but when people have just been diagnosed or somebody's just lost somebody and, they're going through deep trauma and you've happened to bump into them in the street. And that's like, I find that's where these pop-ups can be inappropriate for me to kind of go up and engage with, because I don't know these people.
Yeah.
I say, I'm not enforcing, I'm trying to inform. So how do you talk to somebody when you don't know what they're going through? It's really difficult. Difficult.
It must be a challenge. It must be a challenge. So
it's challenging. I'm looking forward to going on holiday at the end of the week.
Any plans for the future? Like, what's your call to action? What do you really want people to do on this platform? We want to amplify your voice.
Okay, so this project that I'm working on is going to be running for the next 6 months. If you have an email from me, it's briony@mva.org.uk. I think that's right. I will send an email asking people, can I come and do an information session or a pop-up? Do you have a community group? Do you have, any kind of event going on? Can I come along? Please contact me, because I would love to be able to try and reach as many people as I can. It's like, it's not just Medway, it's also Swale. And I'm also on a volunteering section. I'm also looking for people to be community champions as a voluntary position. So when this project finishes and I'm no longer working on this project, that the awareness program is still happening. Because it would be a shame for it to stop.
Yes.
So I will be offering little mini training sessions on everything that I've learned, and I'll be able to give you information packs. And if you want to, carry the torch, so to speak, and want to become a community champion, please contact me.
Brilliant. You heard it right here on the Mic Drop Club. Yeah, most definitely. You definitely get a mic drop for that, because so much great stuff that you've shared with us today. Done a great myth busting. And also you told the frank stories in terms of why it's important and how challenging it is getting that message out in the communities. We'll do everything we can to really amplify that voice. So, Briony, thank you very much for taking some time out of this fantastically hot morning.
Very hot.
And having a conversation with us. And we wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out micdropclub.com and get the show notes and useful links. Subscribe to the podcast. Don't just live life, make life boom.